Okay, so we're looking at another way of measuring angles, and they're called radians. So we're doing our normal circle. You know, you've been measuring angles in a counterclockwise direction: 0, 90, 180, 270, 360. So we're measuring angles in degrees, and that's what you've been doing previously. Okay, so we're now looking at another way of looking at it. So I've got my circle, and the unit circle. Okay, the radius equals 1. Okay, hang on, let's change the pen. So the radius equals 1. So the circumference is 2 pi r, that's the formula, but the radius is 1, so the circumference is 2 pi. So if I'm going around a circle, that distance is 2 pi lengths. Now what we're doing is we're now connecting the angles and the length. So what we say is, well, a whole circle is 360, and now we're saying it equals 2 pi lengths, and we're saying that 2 pi lengths is going to be called 2 pi radians. Okay, so it's just connecting angles and lengths, and we call it radians. Now that symbol there, C, is a symbol for radians, and you don't often have to show it, and it's like degrees. You don't have to show degrees, and you don't have to show radians. Okay, so if 360 is 2 pi, we just divide through by 2. So 360 is 2, then 180 is 1. So 180 degrees is pi radians. Okay, so copy that down, but that's this block here. That's what you have to know. 360 is 2 pi, 180 equals 1 pi. Copy that down, and when you're ready, come across. Okay, so how do you convert between the two? So if we're going to convert into radians, so we've got some number, you know, like 20 degrees. So what you do is whatever that number is that you want, you put that as the first thing. Now, because pi is the same as 180, what we're basically doing is multiplying by 1, but now we've got radians in our calculation. Okay, so the calculator for 20 degrees is you put 20 as the number, and then this is just, that number there is just 1 pi over 180, and then what we do is we just cancel down. So, you know, 0 cancels out with 0, and 2 into 18 goes 9 times. So pi on 9 is the same as 20 degrees. Second example, 45 degrees is 45 times pi over 180, and this time 45 goes into 180 4 times. So 45 degrees is the same as pi on 4 radians. So that formula there is what you need to do. And okay, so looking at going the other way, so if I want to convert into radians, into degrees, sorry, from radians, so what we do is we've got a pi on 6, and we just say, well, pi is the same as 180. So where the pi is, just stick a 180 because that's the same number, and then just cancel down. So 180 over 6 equals 30. So it's pretty straightforward. Okay, so just replace pi with 180, and then that's it, pi goes away. Okay, so on your calculator, and again, this is just so you know what to do. On your calculator, you normally have a D at the top. So just see if you've got a D at the top of your calculator. And to change it to radians, we've got to change the mode. So you press the word, on your calculator, press mode once, and you don't get the word radian appear. So you have to press mode a second time, and now you've got degrees, radians, and gradians, or something like that. But we want radians, so you press 2. And now you should have the letter R at the top of your screen. If you have a look, you'll see the letter R. It's in black, but it's there. And if you want to go backwards, if you don't like radians, you want back to degrees, just press mode 1, and that turns it back into degree mode. So can you just practice, make sure you can convert to radian mode, and then make sure your calculator goes back to degree mode, because you should really leave it default in degree mode, not default in radian mode. So just make sure you can go backwards and forwards, and when you're ready, come across. So using your calculator in radian mode, like for instance, you know, if you're trying to get sine 30, then you have to be in degree mode, but if you want to get sine pi on 6, then be in radian mode. Okay, but later on I'll tell you a bit more anyway. So press mode 2, and then go sine, because got sine. You have to open a bracket, then go shift exp, right down the bottom of the king. Because we have to press shift X, because pi, the number pi, which is 3.14 blah blah blah, lives above the EXP button, so we have to press shift that. Now we want to divide pi by 6, so press divide 6, and then you close the bracket, then press equals, and you get 0.5. And obviously it's a check. Pi on 6 is the same as 30 degrees, and sine of 30 degrees equals 0.5, okay? But you need to have your calculator back in degree mode. And so my note down here is obviously You never have to go to radian mode if you don't want to, because you can convert pi on 6 into 30 degrees right at the start of the question, and then just leave your calculator in degree mode and just do it on your calculator with degrees. So you don't have to go to radian mode, but if you were going to do it, you do. But later on, we have to learn about areas of sectors, and you can only be in radian mode. Okay, so copy that down, and I think that's our last thing. So that's it for that one. It's a nice quick one.